Hi guys! Well, today I'm talking about eggs, the good, the bad and the ugly. So if you want to find out what I've discovered, stay tuned. Hi guys, Thelma here. Nice to see you again. I'm finally back here in my little space in the corner of my room. Well, okay, as you know, I'm a new vegan and I've been trying to determine lately what are safe foods to eat. That's something we're all, trying to figure out. And what I do is I try to form an opinion based on the research that I do, make good decisions for my health and the health of my family. Now, the thing is that eggs have always been a very controversial food, very, very controversial food. And we always ask ourselves, should we eat them or shouldn't we eat them? Well, obviously I'm a vegan, so I prefer to get my protein from, plant-based source. But let's talk a little bit about eggs today. So if you're interested in what I've discovered, stay tuned. I've got some interesting facts to tell you. So guys, what's so great about eggs? Now, eggs are like little powerhouses of protein and nutrients. They basically have all of the information that is needed in one little package to make a little animal. So it's very, very nutritious for the body. You would think. Well, this is what I found out. Eggs are full of B vitamins, folate, phosphorus, selenium, and they have around 80 calories, 10 grams of fat, and about 6 grams of protein. Now, they're apparently fantastic for, getting a complete protein in one place. And a lot of people love eggs. They love having their scrambled eggs. They love putting them into foods. They love to put them into their baked goods. So, a lot of people are very attached to eggs. So should you really eat them? Now, the thing is, eggs have one thing that makes them a little bit tricky, okay? They're full of cholesterol, okay? Now, apparently, according to the FDA, we're only supposed to take in about 300 milligrams of cholesterol a day, and even less if we have any problems with heart disease. So if you take one egg, you're going to give yourself about 212 milligrams of cholesterol. Now, you're probably saying, okay, so what? I'm taking cholesterol, fine, okay. Cholesterol, what is it? Okay, cholesterol is something that the body actually needs. Okay, it's produced by the liver and it's a very important part of the body. We need it for our bodies to function properly. But not all cholesterol is equal. Now, the thing is that eggs are full of a few different types of cholesterol. Okay, we have our high density lipoprotein, okay, and that high density lipoprotein, it's the cholesterol that keeps the bad cholesterol away from the arteries and sticking to the arteries. So that's the good one, and we want that, and there is good cholesterol in eggs, and that's important. So when you see HDL, that's the good cholesterol. But then, of course, there's always a downside. There's the bad cholesterol, and the bad cholesterol is the LDL, and that's the low density lipoprotein, and that's the stuff that basically sticks to the insides of your arteries. That's the bad sticky cholesterol that can cause things like atherosclerosis and can cause heart attacks and strokes. So these are things that we have to consider when we're taking eggs. The other thing about eggs is we have to consider how to actually cook them. When we actually cook an egg, it can actually affect the cholesterol in it and turn it into a bad cholesterol. And bad cholesterol is usually called oxidized cholesterol. Now, when we oxidize something, we expose it to the air and we heat it up. So when you fry an egg or scramble an egg or put protein under a very high heat, it tends to easily oxidize. So we have to be really careful with that. Oxidized cholesterol is extremely bad for your health. So that's something that you really have to consider if you decide to actually eat eggs. The other thing that you really need to consider is, where did you get your eggs from? Now this is also very important. For me as a vegan, I care about cruelty to animals, but even from a health point of view, the way chickens are actually kept all squashed together, hundreds of them in a very small space, with feces and disease around, those type of chickens will be more inclined to produce eggs that aren't as healthy or are not as nutritious for you. So a good rule of thumb is to try and get yourself locally grown eggs. So we would look at places like free range farms, local farmers markets and places like that, where the chickens had the chance to roam around, forage for their food, get a bit of sunlight and just happily produce their eggs. The industrial chickens tend to be squashed together with all of the other chickens and are much higher chance of being diseased. So you have a higher chance of getting salmonella poisoning, listeria poisoning from the industrialized eggs. So one good thing to do is to just go to your farmer's market and try to avoid the supermarket eggs. So that's one way we can protect ourselves. And who should and who shouldn't eat eggs? Well, the thing is, healthy people eating eggs on a regular basis are probably going to be okay. But if you are a diabetic and you have a higher triglyceride level in your blood, then I would say that it's probably not a good idea to eat so many eggs, because in diabetes people are more inclined to have a higher triglyceride level and they have a hard time breaking down the fats in their blood. So to add so much cholesterol to your diet would actually be counterproductive. I've actually read that there are actual safer ways to eat eggs. They say that it's better to actually eat eggs raw if you can stomach it, or soft boiled. Now the reason why they say that is, again, if you heat up the egg, the cholesterol can oxidize, and we don't want oxidized cholesterol. This is really bad for us. So the best way to eat an egg is to have it soft boiled or raw. Another thing is people ask, should I just eat the egg white maybe, or the yolk? Well, the interesting thing is a lot of people think, I should just maybe have the white of the egg because the yolk is bad, or vice versa. Well, the thing is, the actual egg yolk is meant to be better to be just eaten raw, but the white is supposed to be eaten cooked. Now the reason why the white should be cooked is the white of the egg has an enzyme. It's a digestive inhibitor, okay, and it's called trypsin, and that's actually destroyed when you actually cook the egg. And what the actual trypsin does if you eat it raw is it actually inhibits the absorption of protein by up to 50% if you actually take the raw egg white. The other thing is that the white of the egg has a thing called avidin in it, which actually binds the biotin, okay, your biotin supplies. And biotin is very important for skin, hair and nails, and very important in pregnant women, because pregnant women are more deficient in biotin. So if you eat literally a raw egg with the egg white, the egg white has these enzyme inhibitors which can actually cause you to have a depletion of biotin, which is not good. So eat the white cooked, and if you can, eat the yolk raw. So guys, in conclusion, you're probably saying to yourself, why is Thelma as a vegan, talking about good ways to eat eggs? Well, the way I feel, okay, as a person, I believe that you have the choice to eat whatever you want. I'm not the type of vegan that's going to come and tell you that you can't eat whatever you want. I've made my decision to be a vegan because it suits me. I feel better about it. I don't enjoy eating scrambled eggs. I find it distasteful myself personally to eat eggs, but other people have absolutely no problem with it. So I think if you're going to eat something and you're going to eat an animal product, make sure at least that it's cruelty free. And you can make sure your egg is cruelty free by getting your eggs at the local farmers market. And you know where it's you can source your egg, and this is something that these are the things that you can do, and it's also healthy for your body as well. If you're going to eat eggs, I would say make sure to keep them refrigerated because we have to keep them cool. Don't scramble or fry your eggs. Soft boil your egg or eat them raw if you can. So guys, in conclusion, it's really up to you what you eat. But go out there and inform yourself. Inform yourself of the health benefits. Inform yourself, and then you know that if you eat something, you're doing something that is good for your body. A lot of people eat food because it's cultural, traditional. It's something they just like to eat. And it's very hard for them to let go of those foods. But there are alternatives to eggs. You can have tofu scramble. There are lots of egg substitutes out there as well. Or you can just maybe throw in some beans instead for your protein. There are lots of different plant-based protein alternatives that you can use. So guys, I'm just here giving you the information. You guys eat whatever you want, but make sure it's cruelty free, okay? Think about the animals. So I just want to say I really appreciate all my new subscribers, especially on the video talking about papaya seeds and my parasite fiasco. Thank you guys. I really appreciate all of the views, and the comments are very interesting. I hope that I can help you with those comments. And today what I'm drinking is, as you can see, it's not wine, it's pretending to be wine. I give myself this psychological boost that I'm drinking wine, but I'm not. This is Synergy, and it's an organic kombucha. You can see it there, and I absolutely love it. And it's got a fermented kombucha in it, which is fantastic. It puts all of the good bacteria in your gut, so it's something I've been trying to incorporate into my diet. So guys, as I said before, thanks for watching my video. Remember to like, subscribe and share if you can, and all that jazz. And I'll see you in another video.